3 years ago when we decided to do this film club thing, I imagined, I really wish you could do Psycho. It's a perfect film to kind of unpack and analyze it. I'm so just out there with it now, so you have to restrain me, please. It's probably not Hitchcock's best film. It's probably Hitchcock's most famous film for sure, and it's everything about Hitchcock that needs to be known is in here. Good things and bad things. There's some bad stuff too. But on the whole, it's a masterpiece textbook for any filmmakers, not just for thriller and horror, but really for how to film sequences, how to empathize with people, the characters you're seeing on screen, how to depict them, how to manipulate the audience. This is really a masterpiece of audiences manipulation. Now, the obvious question is, I don't want to see any hands, but who hasn't seen the film? 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay. For the benefit of 4 people, I will keep it spoiler-free. Even though we all know, if I do, we know exactly. Even if you haven't seen the film, you know. It's so in 1960, Hitchcock is at the top of his game, top of his power. He can do anything he wants. You think? Not really. He's done Rear Window, he's done Vertigo, he's done North by Northwest. It's a film just before this one. And this one is going to be The Birds. And he had this book from Robert Bloch called Psycho, and which he wanted to adapt. Screenplay by a guy called Stefano. They changed a few things. We'll talk about afterwards what they changed. It's quite interesting. Pure Hitchcock, all the changes he made. And he offered it to Paramount, and Paramount didn't like it. They said, we don't want this film. They didn't give you anything, they rejected it. So, when I say Hitchcock at the top of his game and his power, not really. So he had to go to Universal, and which eventually they managed. But basically the clause was that he's going to, scary, he's going to finance most of it himself. So he cashed out himself. Come over for that one too. What is it? The budget I think is around $800,000, which for today's money is about 6 million. Nothing, really nothing in terms of movie making. If today somebody says I've got a film I can make it for 6 million, they laugh at you. He made Psycho. In order to do that, at the time he was doing his Alfred Hitchcock Presents, that TV show where he sort of showed up at the beginning, good evening, and he started talking, presenting this little short story. So he used, in order to save money, he used the crew from his TV films, from his TV show. The editor, the director of photography, the art department, everyone was sort of drawn in from the TV show. And they made it really quickly, obviously spending a week doing just the shower scene, but everything else was really, really quite quick. And they got some pretty big stars. We'll talk about that later on, how it sort of played with the audience preconceptions of who the star is and what's going to happen. And we all know, but let's pretend we don't know. And that's it. The film was a humongous success. It broke all box office records, and it made Hitchcock really rich because it was his investment actually. And Paramount sort of still cried about that. In fact, if you go to the Universal Studios, you see the Psycho house. You've probably been there. And how much can I say beforehand? Well, it's a film of two halves. It's a film of this idea of doubles. Actually, it's a recurrent theme throughout the film. I mean, you've probably seen the film many times, you've seen it once, I don't know, but pay attention to how much the idea of double identity, double mind, mirrors, right from the beginning, right from the titles. where the writings, logos, and sort of breaks up into two, and it splits, and the screen splits into two, right from the beginning all the way through till the end. It's all this kind of double thing. The way the actors are positioned in the screen, standing almost like mirror image in front of each other all the time. It's really, really interesting. We're gonna go through some of that afterwards. We've got a few scenes, if we can make the computer work. A few scenes which we can play again and show you what it's doing. And on top of that, masterclass of lighting. Again, the lighting does pretty much the same on some of the actors' faces. Try to pay attention to that, how it sort of divides them into dark and light. The way the set is lit, the way everything about it, and then of course the music. Bernard Herrmann, very famous kind of string staccato, that one, but not just that, but throughout the whole thing. The film, it was sold as Hitchcock was quite adamant right from the start. He built this marketing campaign where on the poster, and I can show you that afterwards as well, he had written on the poster itself, no one will be allowed once the film is started, or something like that. Obviously at the time, people would come in and out, during the film. I mean, I remember actually when I was younger, I would still come in, and maybe the film had started from about 15 minutes before or something. I used to watch it and then stay for the 15 minutes after. What a terrible way to watch a film, but that's what we used to do. And but it was really, it was a kind of a clause within all the theaters. You're not letting anyone in once the film started. And obviously we can talk about that afterwards once you've seen it. And even the trailer itself was bizarre. It wasn't even a trailer. It wasn't showing scenes from the film, but it was using him. And I've got that too, which I can show you afterwards. It's really funny. You've got Hitchcock essentially doing a tour of the house and a tour of the motel. And he sort of stops and says, this is where the first murder happened. I can't tell you that. And then moves on to the next location. This is where, and just giving you these things, but without showing anything. Secret was paramount for him. Well, actually, not paramount. And again, that too paid off. The critics were not allowed to spoil. I mean, it was the first kind of don't spoil the film sort of thing. 1960, and it worked. It really worked. Should I tell you? Should I not tell you? No, I won't tell you anything else. Just the other thing is, yes, music is famous, but do pay attention as well to the use of sound. Sometimes sound or silence. Amazing use of silence or real kind of sound, rustling noises and water running, rain, whatever, and the absence of music. Hitchcock truly believed that sometimes silence is scarier than having music underneath, emphasizing, this is a scary scene. And we've seen that throughout, Rear Window, the famous scene where, the guy is coming upstairs to strangle him. You hear his footsteps from the background, echoing, coming closer and closer and closer, no music. And that absence of music makes it ever more real and spookier somehow. And, well, enough is enough. Let's watch this, and I cannot wait to talk to you afterwards. Take care.